What makes a service business high ticket and sets you up to get paid like an expert? Well, it's not by doing more in your business. It's actually about doing less. That's why we're talking about productized services and the agency model today. A productized service is about intentionally creating a profitable service business that gives you more bandwidth. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast. If you're a creative consultant or agency owner who wants to know what the roller coaster ride really looks like to grow your business from one to many, you're in the right place. My guest and I pull back the curtains on the realities of growing and running agencies of different sizes and what it takes to build a team. And if you're anything like me, you want more than the highlight reel. You want to learn from the mistakes of others so that you can stop short of making the same mistakes. I'm your host, Audrey Joy Kwan. I spend my days as a coach and consultant to multiple 6- and 7-figure agency owners. For the last 7 years, I've been behind the scenes helping people grow, lead, and operate small but mighty agencies. Here at the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast, we'll uncover what works and, equally as important, what didn't work to get these business owners to where they are today. Hey, welcome back to the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast. What sparked this episode is a conversation I was having with a client about why the idea of building an agency can feel intimidating and how that can stop creatives, consultants, and agency owners from taking what's working and growing it. The truth is, if you're at capacity, the agency model is how you serve more clients. And the word agency simply means having people in your business who can work directly with your clients. The agency model can feel intimidating because what comes to mind when you think of an agency are huge firms offering its clients everything they could ever want. The thought is overwhelming. Traditionally, agencies were one-stop shops. It made sense when marketing channels were much more limited than they are today. 20 years ago, the marketing landscape looked different. There weren't as many channels. Today, marketing is social media, content marketing, pay-per-click ads, search engine optimization, email marketing, and more. It's all become more sophisticated, but 100%, there weren't as many opportunities for people to become self-taught and expert in these zones and then start their own business like there is today. And so the traditional idea of what an agency looks like still lingers. It's this idea that an agency has to offer all the services and become a huge firm that provides clients everything they could ever want. But flash forward today, if you have an expertise and you're good at it and you have the desire to go out on your own, you don't need to work for an agency. You can start your own and it doesn't have to look like the traditional picture of everything under one roof agency. It can be a very specialized agency model. We call that the productized service agency, and we need to normalize productized service agencies. The owners that I work with, they don't want a bloated and complicated business, and agencies don't have to be that way. If you want a high ticket service business that consistently provides high value to your client and doesn't have you stuck in service delivery, you want a productized service agency. Prioritizing your service is a foundation in my Mighty Pod Model program, where we help you build a service business that is scalable and won't stop working when you decide to take a 4-week vacation. That might sound unreal right now, but listen to episode 48. You'll hear a success story from Justin that just might give you the confidence to take the next steps. And if you want more inspiration, check out the case studies on my website. You'll find those links in the show notes. So, what is a productized service? Well, there are 5 pillars in a productized service that make it easier to scale with the lean team. We'll cover those 5 things in more detail in the next episode, but today I want to give you a quick overview. Number 1, the first pillar, you have a niche, and it can be an industry niche, a service niche, or both when you have a productized service. Number 2, you need to identify and capture your intellectual property. This is where so many people get stuck when they're trying to build a productized service. They don't know how to pull it out of their heads. Number 3, you need clarity on what your positioning and promise is to your clients for you to make your productized service profitable. Number 4, the container for your productized service needs to be defined. And last but not least, how to think about your processes in a way that doesn't create unnecessary handholding of team team members is a key part of a productized service. We're going to cover each of these in more detail in the next episode. Today, I want to share why having a productized service is so powerful and how it transforms your business. There are advantages that productized service agency has that a do everything for you agency does not. The most obvious advantage is that it's easier to market a productized service. A productized service is niche specific. When your niche is specific, you strategically cut down on the busy work of finding your clients by going to where your niche hangs out and showing up there. That means that you're no longer trying to figure out the 20 different places you need to go. You're honing in on the places where that niche goes to get educated, where they go to get information, and you show up there. Your service also becomes more valuable in the eyes of your niche because it's specifically catered to them. And when you have a service that's specifically catered to a niche, you will build a track record in that niche, and that supports a higher ticket offer. One less talked about advantage that I get so excited about is compound intellectual property. You create what I call compound intellectual property when you have a productized service. This is a high value asset in your business. When you invest in capturing your intellectual property, that intellectual property compounds because you and your team consistently capture the learnings from your processes. Then you refine, streamline, optimize the intellectual property according to those learnings, and that knowledge is consistently passed down. The result of that is compounding intellectual property, and that compounding is what keeps you innovative. A common challenge I see with service business owners is that they get stuck being the bottleneck of the business. This is where everything has to go through your eyes before it can move forward. It's not sustainable, and you can't scale the business that way. When you have a productized service, you're not asking your team to be the jack of all trades. Quite the opposite. You provide the processes for your team to go deep and focus on a niche. Focus supports your team to own the expertise rather than you having to be the brain on everything. It leads to high service quality for your clients and the confidence that you can let go. All of this, it is in theory. I've trained and coached service business owners to design productized service agencies that are streamlined, profitable, and can scale. Now imagine a productized service as a sandbox. Inside a sandbox, there's room for creativity, but without that sandbox, there are distractions and rabbit holes that get you lost. Distractions and rabbit holes create a mediocre service business that can do things well, but it's focus that creates excellence and makes businesses sought after. A productized service creates focus. It's the unique advantage of a productized service. Now, you might be wondering, can a service business have more than one productized service? Yes, the answer to that is yes. When you create one powerful productized service in a niche, you can grow as much as you want in the niche with additional productized services. So don't be intimidated by the agency model. There's the old way of thinking about agencies and this assumption that you have to be a big firm to be successful. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be a productized service agency that doesn't have you delivering the service. Instead, it's built with the intention of having a lean team with the focus and the structure to scale with ease. So that's it for today, friends. I'll be back with the episode on the 5 pillars of a productized service. In the meantime, if you know someone who wants to intentionally create a service business that can scale with a lean team, even if they're at capacity right now, whether they're a consultant, copywriter, designer, agency owner, please share this episode with them. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you on the next one. Hey there, thanks for hanging out with me at the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you hit the follow or subscribe button in your podcast app and share it with a friend. I'll see you on the next one.